Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for liking, subscribing, watching my videos, sharing. Thank you for everything, your feedback, dropping your comments too. I see all your comments. Thank you so much. Okay, so um, the topic of discussion today is very dear to my heart because I found myself in that situation, or I still find myself partially in that situation, and that is the struggle of women, especially when they have been out of job for a while, maybe due to marriage, due to relocation, due to they having children, having to stay at home for a while, and then the struggle they have trying to get a job. So I'm going to be sharing my personal experience and what I think. So why this message, why this thought came to my mind was because some weeks ago I stumbled on an article and it says LinkedIn is adding stay-at-home mom and more caretaker titles as 2.3 women leave the workforce. So the LinkedIn has discovered that, or there have been requests for LinkedIn to add stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad or stay-at-home parents to their work titles. And I think there have been people that have been asking if for one reason or the other they've been out of jobs, and it's becoming very difficult for them to get back to job because by the time you're filling your LinkedIn profile, you have worked at XYZ company between 2005 to 2010, and then this other company, and you've worked maybe from 2010 2011. Then maybe from 2011 you had to stay at home either due to relocation, and it's not easy to get a job, or it has not been easy to get a job, or maybe you had a child or children and you had to stay until they are too young to maybe live in care of a nanny, or you just did not find any suitable person or trustworthy person to leave them in care of, or sort of trustworthy institution to leave them in care of, or you relocated and it's becoming very difficult to get a job, or like for mothers breastfeeding and things like that. So people have been making requests to LinkedIn to factor that into their titles such that people can boldly say, oh, from 2011 to 2012 or 13, I was a stay-at-home parent, or other caregiver titles. I was at this particular period of time, and then now I want to start work, or between this time again, I started work again, and maybe I had another child. I had to stay at home for this period of time. Now, the reason is many people that stay at home. Ideally, if they had an option, they would not want to stay at home. But for diverse reasons, like I mentioned before, they've had to do that. And then it becomes difficult trying to tell the new employer, or trying to convince another employer that, oh, I've been out of job, or I've been out of work for so period of time. Some people, in the bid to discover up their labs, they probably get an education, an added degree, or learn a skill, just try to add up to whatever it is they know, so that at least that one covers up for that space. But the truth is that there are some people that, for example, someone that gives birth to twins, and maybe there were even complications around the delivery and all of that. So the person has to maybe stay at home for a while to even recover, while also trying to take care of the children. So that person might not even be able to learn any particular skill, even during that period of time. And then it becomes difficult trying to explain. It's like giving too much information to your new employer, prospective employer, and saying, oh, what actually happened was that I had this was my problem, this was my challenge. Maybe in the course of that, myself and my family, we had to relocate to another city or another country. And again, that's like a new job search all over again. And it took me a while. That's like too much information. So, but when I saw the article, I was happy because, okay, from my experience now, when I had, when I got married, I had to leave where I was working before and moved in with my husband. By the time we stayed for like 6 months, around 6 months or something, he got a far better job in another town, another state. We had to move again. So getting to the new state, I think I was already pregnant at that time, and it was now difficult getting a job because most employers don't even always want pregnant women. So I was even skeptical. I was now torn between, should I tell, the pregnancy was not even obvious then, but I was torn between, oh, should I let them know that I'm already pregnant, or should I not let them know? But what if I don't let them know and they now discover, and and based on work policy, maybe you cannot take maternity leave until you have worked for maybe 1 year or 2 years, and then won't I look like a liar? And categorically, I remember one of the interviews, the person asked me, do you think there's anything we should know? Like, is there any child? Something like that. And I can't even remember what answer I gave, but I just knew that if I didn't tell these people now, I would have a problem when I eventually get it. So I just stepped back and did not really pursue that work. And then by the time I gave birth, I now had another challenge. This baby is a 2, 3 months old child. I'm not convenient just dropping the child off like that. So I was trying, I remember trying to get a job when my child was 4 months, and I was already excited because, oh, this job does not look like a job that you have to be on the field. But okay, if it's on the field, I can maybe get a caretaker and we'll move around together. The person will be holding, carrying the child or something like that. But I now discovered that the job, they said, oh, we are going to be covering Abuja, Kogi. They mentioned like 4, 5, 6 states. So what it means is I'm not just going to be covering only one state. I'm going to be traveling. And I'm like, how will I be traveling with a 4 month old baby? And maybe if I, for example, I have to go to a particular state, I plan that I'm going to come back. And for one reason or the other, the person I'm supposed to meet there or the institution I'm supposed to have a meeting with, there was a delay and I cannot come back. Means I have to be looking for an hotel to sleep with a 4 month old baby, pack diaper, baby food, pack so many things. I can, no, this stress is much. So that was like a very big challenge for me, because even though, oh, I wanted the job very much, I needed the money, I needed to be working, I'm someone that likes to work, I was still facing the challenge of how do how do I take care of my baby. So eventually I just resorted to, okay, let me just stay back and try to do some other things. And the time the baby was quite a bit older, more than 6 months now, okay, I felt okay. At least now he doesn't have to just rely only on breast milk. So I said, okay, once the baby can eat other solid food now, I think it's big enough to put in a crèche or things like that. And then the problem was now, how do I explain that, oh, within the last maybe 1 year, I've not been working. It was a very big challenge for me, because when people ask me, what have you been doing? If in between that period, I was still writing, I always loved to write, so I made sure that I was still writing during that period. I think I even published a book during that period. But for many people, they did not even have the time to do, or they don't even have such skills. And then they're just stuck. And to now get a job becomes more difficult. That's why eventually you see women just say, just quit their job and then just establish one business, and whatever career path they had planned for initially, you just have to change, and then they'll say, oh, I've switched to plan B, plan C. It may not be their intention, but because even the job market is not, it's not friendly to such women, because they like, oh, what have you been doing? You mean, I remember someone telling me that they were telling one of our friends that you were having a baby, and so that's why you did not work for a whole year, and the person was just, and if you find out even that person has children. So but I when I saw this post, I was like, oh, it's a very good and thoughtful thing for LinkedIn, so I want to throw it open anyway. So what do you think? Do you think that, what are your experiences, that's for moms, what are your experiences trying to get back to the workforce after maybe staying a while to have your child? Or if you did not stay a while, how did you cope? Did you have a nanny, a help, a sibling, a relative help you out? How did you cope? Did you have to, if for those that maybe you had traveling jobs, how did you go about it with a child? Because there are some people that somehow they had children and they had the traveling jobs, and I'm wondering, how did they do it? They never really left the workforce all through. How did they really cope? And then did you think it had an impact on the child? Many times you were not at home and you had to travel. In fact, I remember that's what made me win my child, because he was quite clingy and everything. So, but by the time I got another job and they told me, oh, you have to come for a training in a particular state, I said, okay, now this child is grown enough. This is more than 1 year. I think I have to win you at this point. And then gradually I win them off before I eventually resumed for that job. And then that was how he became more independent. So what was your experience like? And then do you think this development is welcome? What do you think about it? So the comment section is open. Share with people. It's a good news. We hope that other employers to put that in mind and are considerate to women. So what do you think? Yeah, that's it. So thank you for watching. I expect your comments. I expect your feedback. And thank you so much. Cheers.